not even one.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Carter.
Luke, are you happy that we're recording our BC Sport Connect Series 1? We had a nice chat with Motse yesterday. And just for people who do watch this, I'm going to introduce myself as Adrian Carter, Director of Sports, Mr. Tunmer, a leading light in the space department, and Mr. Luke Caveney, our rugby captain since Stithians Boys College 2020. So yeah, it's really chilled. We're going to get to know you on a bit of a personal level. And before we kick off, Luke, I was just chatting to Mr. Tunmer, who has an equally interesting background as well. Behind him, I'm guaranteed he didn't take any of those photographs. I bumped into one of the teachers, deputy heads at the prep school, and he said to me that when you were in the prep school, you referred to as the caveman. Maybe run us through that nickname and the respective connotations that sprouted forth.
Yeah, don't know why you exposed me like that. But that was basically in my grade 7 rugby year. I put in this massive tackle, and then I don't know, it was just Caveney, and then they just thought, and then because I made a few big hits and stuff, and then they just thought we'll call him Caveman. I was about it. So yeah.
Pity I haven't heard that sooner. I definitely could have used that in strategic ways in the chapel in years gone by. So Luke, I'm gathering that your journey started in the primary school, prep school.
Yeah, so went to Saints Prep, grade 3, and that's really where I got introduced to rugby. It was at grade 3, in grade 3, and then from then on it just kicked off and played with a few guys there, and I haven't looked back since.
Luke, were you always a good player, or kind of did it change and move over time?
Sorry, so can you repeat that? Was I always
a good player?
No, not at all. No,
not at all.
I was in the A sides, but it wasn't like I stood out or anything. It took a while to get into the game because I was new to it. It wasn't like something that I was playing since 3 years old, but once I got into it, I fell in love with the game, and then just kept on playing it.
Tell me, Luke, any role models or teachers or coaches that stood out for you while you were in the prep school, your journey through prep school?
Look, there's lots of people in the prep school who I can talk about, but I think one teacher in particular, Mr. Malotra and Mr. Makola, he was our rugby coach, and he really just told me the roles of a flank, and he was a mentor to me, and he just showed me how to play the game. Because as I said, I didn't know much about rugby, and that helped a lot, and we got on well, and it was lacquer with him.
So the self-same teacher that sold you out with Luca and the caveman's hair also mentioned something important to me in the sense that, and I believe the exact quote was, that your dad has hardly missed a fixture between you and your brother. What impact has that had, having your dad watching you for most of your career? It must have been quite special.
No, for sure. Look, I've been lucky that my dad's been to every game. And it's been awesome having him their support because he knows rugby well as well. And he's also obviously taught me about rugby and shown me and stuff like that. But not just rugby, I mean cricket as well. But no, it's great having him there, always supporting you on, having your back. And my father's not one that really is a competitive guy. Whenever I come off the field, he always asks me, no matter if I have a shocker or a good game or, have a man of the match performance, let's say, his first question he always asks me is, did you have fun? And I think that's something that, I've always remembered playing sport. And I think that's one of the values of sports, is just to have fun. It's been great having that support there.
Sure. It's incredible. Yeah, I think fun goes a long way, Mr. Carter.
Pardon?
I think fun goes a long way to making guys really excited about sport and physical exercise. Luke, in terms of fun's the one part, but there's a hell of a lot of hard work involved. Hard training, sort of times you're getting up in the morning when you're not so keen to sort of hit the ice on the field when you under 14. What makes you play and train hard? For you, like what kind of inspires you to train and do the hard yards?
Look, for me, so I was never one that was big into training and into like the gym and stuff like that. But when I was in grade 9,
You're big naturally, right? I mean, you gym naturally.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was big naturally, but no, but like, yeah, I wasn't like a big flank if you compare to other teams and stuff. But it really all kicked off when I was in grade 9. I was playing cricket and I was batting, and the bowler bowled the ball, and I was batting, and I swung the bat to hit the ball, obviously, and I dislocated my knee. So I spent 6 weeks out, did my rehab and stuff like that, and then I came back. I was ready to play, and this was my first rugby game now. Just went straight into it, and funny enough, I actually dislocated my other knee.
Oh no!
As well. So that's really where it all started, and then I met this guy named Sikle, and obviously Coach Steph, who was at the coaching clinic at Saints, and that's really when I just started training, because a lot of people told me that I wouldn't come back from this injury, and I got told myself from the doctor that I shouldn't play rugby, and that really just it kind of irritated me, and I wanted to prove them wrong. And that's when the training, and that's when I started gymming and found a new passion as well.
Luke, just going back to one of your earlier statements, you said you were playing cricket. You swung hard at the ball. It must have been an incredibly hard swing for you to dislocate your knee.
No, it was. So what actually?
Did I hear that correctly? Because I'm getting old.
No, yeah, you did. What it was it was the spike got stuck in the ground, so it pitched in on the crease, and then my knee just went, just dislocated.
Gee whiskers. That could have been interesting. Just going back to the element of fun, I think one of the reasons that your dad asked you that question is that your dad went to Rhodes, and apparently lots of fun is had at the University of Rhodes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Talk me through high school, grade 8 up until where you are right now. Take us through maybe one of your regrets, one of your highlights, before we ask you any more questions.
Yeah, so coming in grade 8 in a big school, obviously hard to find your feet, and for me particular, I didn't really feel like I felt in or left a mark, but obviously I was in grade 8, and then I met great coaches there. Mr. Ball was huge in developing me, just as a mentor as well. But then also playing with the mates and stuff, it was fun, and I really just enjoyed it. But yeah, if there's one thing I do regret, it'd probably be to, I've learned over this time with this virus now and things taking away, it's just to, really enjoy every game and every practice, every opportunity, because I feel like at Saints especially, there's this stigma that's created that, it's until your matric year, and your matric year, you'll do this and stuff. But now, knowing that that's not here, obviously it's taken away. I would really wish that I would cherish every game, play it as my last. And I feel like if I did do that, I would be a better player. But yeah, there's been great memories. The one that stands out for me was definitely last year. Still remember the date, 16th of March, playing my debut for the first team and the first game of the season against St. David's. So yeah, that was definitely my highlight of my college career.
What made it for you? Just give us insight into what it's like running on there in your first.
I was petrified. It was at St. David's, and funny enough, I wasn't in the starting side. On the Thursday, one of our Yenam got injured, and I got caught up. So I was still new to the system. I didn't know any of the moves, anything. So I was shaking. The day before, Thursday night, it was a nightmare. In class the next day on Friday, I couldn't concentrate. And then Saturday just ran on. Didn't know what to expect. Everyone was so huge. It was like playing with giants. And then in my eyes, and then once I made that first tackle, I got into it and it was fun. And it was fun. Yeah,
What was the final score?
It was 22-19. We just won.
Nice.
That's a beautiful thing. Tell me, Luke, so I've heard from various teachers and a couple of boys and colleagues of mine from other schools. And this might be a little bit difficult for you, but it's not meant to be disrespectful. But we look like we had a very nice rugby team this year. The boys had worked really hard. Do you feel that we were better prepared this year in terms of strength and conditioning as a first squad than, for example, last year? Maybe just talk us through that.
100%. I mean, can't even compare. This year, we had a great preseason. We were there, we trained, we did everything. I mean, we were in the gym, and it was nice because we adapted our training. It wasn't just running up and down. We did Murph workouts, which is pull-ups mixed with squats. So it was a great preseason, and we had lots of numbers there as well, and the side and the squad was looking good, so it would have been exciting.
Mr. Tunmer, just to share with you on the one or two practices I went to watch as I'd walk around the respective fields, none of the boys in the school wanted to tackle Tabani. Charging full steam. There were a couple of guys that tried, but they were kind of brushed off. So I was really looking forward to seeing that fine athletic specimen charge down the wing, ball under the hand off Tonalomu style, and pop it under the post against respective schools. So
it does have a Tonalomu feel, I have to say, actually.
Just a magnificent specimen. Yeah, when I walked around the rugby field this year, I mean, obviously last year was a difficult season. But interesting, Luke, that you mentioned the word fun, because all the boys and all the age groups, we just looked to be better prepared. The guys looked to be having great fun. There was a sense of excitement until something cruel happened. But you guys looked to be in really good nick.
Yeah, and I think that's why the preseason was so good, and why guys kept on coming, because it was fun, and the coaching staff, Mr. Paul and Coach Charlie, their plan was to make it fun for us and to enjoy it. And I think that was brilliant, because I know everyone had a great time and everyone wanted to be there at preseason. Even, we had the one day in the half term where we went to go to fitness. It wasn't like something that was looked down on. It was something where we just wanted
you guys look forward to.
Yeah.
Tell me, what would your advice be for current grade 8s in the school? Share some of your advice with them.
Look, obviously, I'm sure everyone is going to be on this episode is going to say hard work and train and do that, which I totally agree with, and you must do and stuff. But my advice simply to the grade 8s or any age group is really just to enjoy every moment of it. It sounds simple, but you never know what you have until it's taken away from you. Everything you do at the school, just enjoy it. Every game you play, every practice, make the most out of it. Play it like it's your last. And I can guarantee you'll enjoy it. And obviously just train hard, work hard, and get in the gym for all the rugby players.
Luke, how have you come through so positively? You speak positively. You're smiling. You've got no regrets about having a sort of a season that's been disrupted and sort of falls short of what you were expecting. How have you remained so positive? You feel positive on the other side of the screen here.
No, look, it seems like this now maybe, but there has been a few times through this period of lockdown where it's been tough. It's been hard, because I worked so hard to be in this position and captain the team, and I know the team also as well, and it's obviously not great, it's not ideal, but the other day, there were a few times where I remember the Saturday of Easter Fest we were meant to be playing, I just I don't want to sit, I just cried, to be running out in front of everyone at Easter Fest, but now here I was stuck at home. It's been don't perceive it as like I've taken it completely like positive and I'm fine. Like there has been a few times where it's been, you know, but yeah, so I kind of have, you know, reshifted focus a bit, I would say. It's not like I'm completely thinking now what's going to happen stuff, and like all that time is wasted. Not at all. I'm looking forward to next year. I still want to give rugby a go at varsity with my studies. So, you know, and I've got a few weights at home here, so I've been training for that a lot. And yeah, I shifted focus to that.
Sure, that's shifting focus. Mr. Carter, I mean, that shifting focus from those big goals and now really be able to be agile and refocus. It's a great skill to have. It's wonderful.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Luke, listening to you. I mean, you really do seem very positive. Every time I've seen you at school, you're very positive. And you know, we talk about the great sportsmen and women in the world. You know, and they're able to adjust and adapt to any situation, positive and or negative. You talk about a batsman that can bat well on the subcontinent and bat well on the fast wickets in South Africa and or Australia. You talk about the all-round tennis player that can play on all different surfaces. I mean, yeah, you particularly, the way you've been able to adjust and to adapt now to look forward for next year. And I want to tell you that, you know, as a young man, leads me to my next question, you know, the university space. I'm looking forward to hearing, you know, what are your plans for varsity? What do you want to study? What are you thinking of studying? Where do you want to go to? And yeah, I mean, don't close the door on potentially playing young guns at university and or running out for varsity cup. It's an incredible phenomenon. And in the same way that you would have enjoyed running out to thousands of adoring fans at the festival this year, that opportunity still awaits you. Make no mistake, at a number of universities next year. What are your plans for next year, Luke?
So yeah, my plans for next year are, you know, I've applied for 3 universities. Still waiting to hear from them now with this whole thing. But you know, I'd love to go to Tux and play rugby there. But yeah, I'd also like to study a BCom from BCom management. And then along with that, just play rugby on the side. And as you said, I'd love, like, that is my goal right now, to play young guns and then into the varsity cup, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what a wonderful platform that is for you when you get to university. So I mean, look, you've still got many wonderful years, 4 or 5 wonderful years of sport and academics. And yeah, I think, you know, Luke, it's interesting. Never forget the balance that sport gives you, and the molding of you as a young man to where you are today. If I listen to the way you speak of sport, you speak of the mentors that you meant, the role your dad's played. I've always said our first contract with parents, both at school and the university space, is the academic qualification. But sport just gives you so much. You know, people talk about so many other facets in the school, but you learn so much from adversity. You know, you learn so much out of winning. What you're going through now, you're learning so much of. I guarantee you, when you put on a rugby jersey, for whichever university you play going forward, you are going to play every game as though it's your last. Make no mistake. So I think that's a massive plus. Tell me, your little brother that comes to us next year, what can we expect? Do we have to keep an eye on him? Does he have to report to Mr. Tunmer every hour? What can we expect there?
No, he's a good kid. Yeah, he's very good. He's an 8th man. Loves his rugby as well. So I'm sure you'll see him there in the scene. And yeah, it's quite nice because I've started training him a bit, you know, with some bodyweight stuff. So he's enjoying that, and he's very determined, very, very determined for his age. I was nowhere near as determined as he is. So yeah, and he's tall. He's a tall guy, lanky, but he's bulking up soon.
So tell me, Luke, it's your mom, your dad, and the 2 of you. Is that right? 2 brothers?
Yes, I've got my other brother is in grade 9, the college.
Okay. Oh, so we're going to have Caveney squared running out for a little while.
Yeah.
Tell me, Luke, as we start to wind down, what is your leadership philosophy? What is your outlook on life?
It's, you know, I got asked this the other day, but it's actually simply just to put others before myself, and I think it often gets overlooked. But as a leader, if your players are fine, then, and you know, if you put them above yourself, then they'll respect you for that. So my leadership philosophy is just to put others before myself. You know, and I'm not going to lie, that is sometimes hard because you as a player, what I learned from last year, just playing first team, is you want to perform in front of the whole school and like do this on yourself and, you know, shine in your own way. But if you make sure the team's going fine and you put them before you and make sure everything's fine, then I think as a team you'll be better.
Awesome.
Where did that come from? I mean, like, where did that kind of idea of that kind of service leadership that, you know, you put others ahead, who's inspired that? I mean, where did you see that? Or is it something that you've kind of come to?
Yeah, definitely my dad. I mean, my dad, like, obviously I'm lucky to have the dad that I've had and the mentor that he's been to me. You know, like, because he treats everyone with the same respect, no matter if you're a top CEO or, you know, you work, you're a security guard or you're a cleaner, he always respects everyone with the same respect. And I've really taken that from him, you know. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Luke, so you know there are three ways to motivate people. The first two are short term. The first one is fear. Doesn't really work in the long term. The other one is reward, where you get some form of reward. But the other way to motivate is self-discipline. What would your advice be to a coach or a teacher to enable more teachers, more coaches to instill the value of self-discipline in sportsmen at our school?
Sure, that's a tricky one. Yeah, look, I think fear, from what I've learned in the college and stuff, it does not work. That's one thing I'll say. I mean, if you put a fear on the guy, it just makes them more rebellious and they don't want to play and they're just doing it because they have to effectively. And there's no fun in that as well. No one wants to play. You know, if you got a coach on you the whole time, it is good. Like, I'm not saying not to. I mean, guys need coaches to be on their back the whole time. I mean, I needed that. But I think the best way is, you know, definitely rewards, goal setting, massive. And, you know, not so much the coach's goals, but it must be the team's goals, what the students want, if that makes sense. Yeah, because that's obviously coaches there. Everyone's got an ego and stuff like that, but sometimes coaches want their goals based for themselves. And I don't think that works at all, because then the team's is not really working towards that common goal. So there has to be a common. So yeah, to answer your question, there needs to be a reward system, setting out goals, what you want to achieve as a team going forward. But more importantly, what do your players want from you? Yeah.
Mr. Tunmer?
Yeah, that's a wonderful answer. So I'm going to go and just ask something completely ridiculous for a moment. Just hear me out. So all sportsmen I know kind of have a secret food fetish. Not a foot fetish, a food fetish. I was just wondering, Luke, your kind of food that you're going to go out and kind of have secretly when you're not training, when you're kind of just wanting to relax and have a good time. Your food of choice, your kind of ideal meal?
Definitely a burger.
From where? Come on now. Give us the in on this thing. Where from?
Big Mac. Nothing better than a Big Mac.
And chips, naturally. Chips.
Yeah.
Luke, you and I are kindred spirits. After my very first comrades in 2006, the uprun, 10 hours, 10 minutes, and 10 seconds. What I craved was a burger, chips, and an extra mini chips, but it's got to be Steers. I'm sorry, Steers gives Big Mac the absolute horns. Nothing better. I have the chips first, I have the burger, and I still have the mini chips for last. It is an absolute routine of mine. So I can relate to the burger. Listen, Luke, it's been hell of a nice to get to meet you, to bore down into your career of a primary school and high school. You've been a hell of a good role model. It's interesting listening to you when you spoke about playing for the first team last year. I'd forgotten that. I'd forgotten how nervous I was as a 16, 17-year-old playing for the first team, and how nervous you were on the Friday, running out, almost like a deer in headlights. I'd forgotten what that meant to boys, and I really enjoyed listening to that. At school, you probably came to school on the Friday, it was a big Safa blur, and and you're readying yourself for that opportunity on Saturday against St David's. Hoo-ha. It's been really nice to get to know you. I've had a couple of informal dealings with your dad, so it doesn't surprise me in any way that you've turned out to be the good young man that you have been. Yeah, and we look forward to the opportunities that the university space is going to offer you next year. I know that besides your ability between the lines, as a rugby player, you're going to be a massive man really good for the club. I think it'll be good for the club off the field as well. And I think there's going to hopefully be a couple of us to come along and watch you next year, whomever you play for, during the course of next year. I look forward to seeing the rugby video. Mr. Tunmer, just to let you know that we're having a video made for our boys' prep. So we're starting off with rugby, the squash one's in production, the hockey one's in production.
Fantastic.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that video. And the idea is that, Luke obviously couldn't play the Saints Festival this year, but 5 years henceforth, that he'll come back and put his arm around what actually might be his brother. It might be his brother in a couple of years, running out to represent Saints in the festival. So, Luke, you've been an incredible ambassador for the school. You really have. Remarkably positive. I really enjoyed Mr. Tunmer's question regarding your positivity, and I know, like with everything, there ebbs and flows through things. Your main priority and your main focus now is to get the best possible results that you can in matric, to enable multiple doors and multiple opportunities to open up for you during the course of next year. But thanks for spending the better part of half an hour with us. Both of us are available to talk to you for the next few months and beyond that. And you're a matric and you're a young man that we'd love to see a lot more of once you leave school. So don't be a stranger. But best of luck for the remaining few months at school. And thank you for your valuable insights. I think a lot of young men at the school will draw a lot of positivity and strength from what you've said. So thanks a lot. Mr. Tunmer, anything from your side?
No, Luke, thanks very much, Mr. Carter, for organising. And I think you're gonna have a lot of fun still. A couple of good sports fun, and that's a marvelous. Something to come out for me is focus on the fun, and I think the rest takes care of itself often with a lot of hard work. So thank you for your time, and good luck with the studies.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Carter, Mr. Tunmer.
Thanks.
And just remember, Luke, if your brother gets here next year and he's this conditioned beast, I'm going to recommend to your dad that you move from BCom to BSc, strength and conditioning, and we then employ you as a school as a strength and conditioning guy moving forward. Anyway, thanks for a lekker conversation. All right.
Thank you
so much, sir.
All right.
Cheers, Luke.
Thanks, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Carter.
Cheers, Mr. Tunmer.
Thank you.